It's a really special day for the Texas women's basketball program and for, in particular, our players, because I think any time that you have a coaching change, there's a little bit of anxiety, not only with our staff, but in particular with the players and you know, who will be the next sort of man up here at Texas. And I think that, as I always do when I have a thought process of who to bring into the staff and who to fold into our program, that I feel like first and foremost will impact not only us on the court and in recruiting, but more than anything, who will impact our young women that are currently here. And that becomes really the most important thing to me as the head coach. Who do I think can impact the young players that we have on our current team? And it didn't take me very long to sort of sift through the process and figure out who I thought would be the best person for that responsibility. And when I say that, I mean it. It's a responsibility to try to impact these young people. And I made a quick phone call to Tiffany as the process began, and from there it went pretty quickly, because I think that as everything in life it becomes about timing. And for her, and I'll let Tiffany tell her story the way she wants to tell it, but for her and for us, the timing could not have been any more perfect to bring back a legend to our campus. And I'm absolutely thrilled, because she is a legend. Tiffany is a legend here at Texas, and she's someone that I think is ready to share her knowledge about the game of basketball and her knowledge about what it takes to be a great here and what it takes to be a great after college. So without further ado, I will introduce the newest member, Tiffany Jackson.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be back here on the 40 Acres. I'm excited to get a chance to coach with such a wonderful coaching staff, to coach a great group of young women, and to help them in the best way that I can. I know that the tools and the intangibles that I learned here is what made my career such a success, and I just want to pass those tools down to the next generation.
Questions for either coach?
What was the conversation like, Tiffany, once you got that phone call and Karen was asking you if you'd be interested or wanted to come?
It was actually a very funny conversation to me. I don't know if she thought it was as funny as I did, because I actually was looking into getting into coaching, and she didn't know that. And I was looking around. I had my agent actually looking around, and so when she called me, it was perfect timing. Like she said, I couldn't have planned it any better myself.
Some of us remember you as a basketball player at Duncanville. What's the challenge going to be to become not a player anymore, but on the other side?
You learn so much when you play, and you have a lot of tools, you have a lot of knowledge, but it's just trying to convey that knowledge to them and just learning how to excite them to play harder, to play well, to study harder, and just to try to convey my message and get it across to them. That'll probably be the biggest challenge, and just knowing that everyone is different and learning how to speak to each one of them.
Is there one thing in particular that maybe a moment along the way that made you decide that you wanted to get into coaching?
I don't think it was one thing. I think I've just had some tremendous coaches throughout, my dad being one, Coach Conrad being one, and I've played for some excellent coaches. I can go on and on. Just the impact that they had on my life, I think that overall helped me decide what I wanted to do.
What did you learn from them that you think you can bring here now?
Integrity, perseverance, tenacity. I mean, I can just go on and on.
What do you remember from when Coach Aston was an assistant coach when you were here? She wasn't here for all 4 years, I believe, but from the time when you guys did overlap.
Coach Karen was actually the post coach, if you can believe it. So we had a lot of interaction, but she was really on me the entire time. I think coming in, I was highly recruited, one of the top players in the nation, and she just didn't care about that. She wanted the best from me, and she demanded the best out of me.
Practice started for the WNBA on Sunday. Were you planning to play again this year before this opening came up?
Yes. I had signed a contract with LA, and my intentions were to play, and I was going to retire after the season, but I knew that retirement was coming.
How difficult do you think it's going to be, after all these years, to not lace them up to play anymore?
I don't think it'll be hard at all. I think it was a decision that actually I made prior to her calling me. It just happened a few months before I anticipated.
She'll lace them up.
Coach, from when you were an assistant here, when Tiffany was here, what do you remember about her as a player in your interactions?
Well, I'm going to tell you the first thing is it was a lot easier to recruit her this time than it was the first time. That was a extremely stressful process because Tiffany was probably one of the highest regarded players to ever come out of the state of Texas at the time she was coming out, and honestly, a different breed of player that no one had really seen anyone like. And there's so many of them now, but I think she was a standard that was unusual at the time, and it was quite a process. She made us sweat. This time, I think it was, again, timing was perfect. If I had been, I don't know, a week later, it might have been too late, and earlier might have been she wasn't ready to have that conversation. So when the phone call was made, it was just like, this is perfect. And honestly, it was the answer that I wanted too, because I didn't need to look any farther than the first phone call I made. And that, that's when you know something's perfect, is when, they don't say, oh, let me think about this for a little bit. It was, yes, I'm ready to coach. And the thing that I always knew about Tiffany was that her understanding of the game was she was a play ahead. I always say she had a guard's brain in a post girl's body. She always was. She knew the next play, and those things, that knowledge of the game, that understanding of the game, and then you think about the wisdom that she's probably obtained in the professional ranks. She's been under some tremendous coaches, in particular Brian Agler in the most recent stay that she had in LA. She's probably obtained a lot of knowledge playing overseas. Her nuggets of information are going to be fresh on her mind, first and foremost, and just her experience and her wisdom that she can pass on to our players who, quite honestly, we're at a level where we're coaching players that want to be pros. Some of them are sitting over there right now. They're waiting for more nuggets of information, and this is just a member of my staff that can give them that, and it means something to them. And as a player, she was always a play ahead.
This presser wouldn't be happening if Tina hadn't left to take a head coaching job. How happy are you for her to get that opportunity to become a head coach, and how hard was it to see her go, even though she's achieving another dream of hers?
It was very hard to see her go because she was an impact to our program. And I can't thank her enough just for really going on a whim. That, not sure if this was what she wanted to do. I think it was an investment she made that let her know that this was her next path of life. And I can't thank her enough for really not only her impact as far as the X's and O part, but just the impact on the players. And that's why this hire was so important to me, to try to emulate that a little bit. Tiffany is a much different personality, and I think she'll have a different approach on the floor. But the bottom line is, you're talking about somebody that has experienced what it takes to be a professional in every area. And that's what our players, they want to know. They're hungry to know that. They're hungry to know, what is it going to take for me to be successful at a different level. And I think that we've hit a home run with that.
Coach, I think when Tina came here, she didn't have a lot of coaching experience, and Tiffany's going to be kind of in the same boat. What are the challenges that she's going to have, filling a different type of role?
I think any time that you take on something new, I have a freshman over there right now that's about to go home in a day, and the newness is over for her, and the smile on her face and how much more comfortable she looks right now is amazing. And I think that goes for a new coach. When you take on a new role and a new responsibility at a different level, then there's a learning curve that happens. Tina wasn't the same coach 3 years later that she was her first year. And So I don't worry as much about, the X's and O's, because their knowledge of the game is tremendous. Tiffany's knowledge of the game is tremendous. One thing that she's done that will be an edge for her is that during a little bit of a hiatus that she took from the game, she coached at a club level, and she also had an opportunity to work with some young ones, and that's actually was an opportunity for me to see her in a different light and see what her interaction was with. I think Tiffany's a teacher, and I think that goes back to her father. I think that her dad was a teacher of the game. He was a developer. He was a man that created a completely different environment in summer basketball in the state of Texas. And she saw that. I mean, she saw what his passion was, and his passion was helping young people, and he didn't care where they went to school. He didn't care what level they played at. He was just trying to help a bunch of young people have another opportunity. So she has a different set of eyes that I think she'll be looking through here.
Tina, the hiatus she referred to, you've been an open book for several years now about breast cancer. How did that affect you, change your life?
It changed everything. I think I'm the type of player, and I think we all can agree, I don't take plays off. And so that just kind of moved on to my life. Like, once that happened, I just realized that, life isn't promised. And you just kind of start looking at things through a different angle. And that's just what happened to me. And I just started appreciating things a lot more.
Her name absolutely resonates across the state of Texas, and I think all you had to do was click onto social media when the announcement came out Monday to see what kind of impact. I mean, she is a legend in our state, and I know across the country most of it is because of her career as a player, but people also identify with Tiffany because of her father and because of his grassroots thinking to helping young people, and so there is a recognition across the country about her, but in the state, I mean, it does go back to her career here at the University of Texas. I mean, when you look at, I forgot how good she was until I looked at the press release on Monday, and I really just had to go, wow, I kind of forgot she was that good. So it's hard to forget people that impact a program like she did here at Texas and have the kind of career that she did. Everyone definitely is at attention.
How important was it for you to get someone who she was your first choice, but were you going for someone who had UT ties already, or just ties to the state, or were you going for the best coach who was out there? What was your thought process with going to the spot?
I definitely have become aware that, I mean, it's part of the reason why I think I was able to transition fairly smoothly is because I understood the expectations here at Texas academically, socially, and athletically. And I think that, on my staff right now, I have George, who's been with me the entire time. He absolutely understands what I expect as a coach, and he understands the culture here because he's lived it with me, and he's from the state, and he had recruiting ties in the state. And then hiring Jamie, and obviously Travis was before Jamie, Jay Lee was before Travis, and so these are all people that have a passion for the state of Texas. They have a passion for the University of Texas. And I think Jamie provided a different lens for me to look through because she was a Texas grad, obviously had a great career here, but had played overseas, had been involved with USA Basketball, had played professionally. And so getting a chance to see someone on the floor that really understood from a technical standpoint, not only the team part of it, but individually, what do these young people need individually to grow? What helps them grow? What helps them get to the next level? She had a really good understanding of that, so it kind of opened my eyes to not getting so locked into someone that coached in the college level or had a certain level of experience or had been at a certain school. It was more, to me, about the student athlete. What experience can we give them, and what can we give them that helps them reach their potential as individuals, and then hopefully your team collectively can be great. So when it starts to get down to the student athlete, I think that these guys are unbelievably good for them. And again, the hire with Tina also, it was another window of opportunity to have someone share with them their level of knowledge about being successful. I mean, that's what it's about. These guys come here to be successful. They come here to grow. And my job is to put people together that can help them do that.
Tina, before you took the job, did you?
Tiffany.
I'm sorry. What did I say?
Tina.
No, I'm sorry. Before you took the job, did you ask for advice for anybody? Did you call somebody? Did you call your dad? Did you bounce this off? Did I say it again?
Actually, I think it was an easy decision, like I said, for me. I knew if Karen was calling me and offering me the job, or not necessarily offering me the job, but offering me an opportunity to come in and interview, I knew that I didn't need to ask anyone else. I trust Karen. I've always trusted Karen since we played together. We have a great relationship, so when she called me, I didn't really have to bounce it off anyone else. I think I called my mom in excitement, probably crying, because I was so excited, and I don't think Karen even knew how excited I was. She thought that, them getting me was like something big, but I thought that them asking me was even huge, was a huge deal, so that's kind of how that went.
Tiffany, while we're waiting, have you had a chance to meet any of the current players, and do you have any first impressions?
Well, I got a chance to meet them on TV. Watching them play. I've watched them play for a long time. I've always followed the program, even when I wasn't playing, even when I wasn't in the country. So I've watched them play all last season. I've met a few of them, and they've all called or texted me. So I've gotten a chance to talk to at least everyone.
I guess just kind of following up on that, have you followed UT closely since you left, and have you had a chance to come to any games or anything like that?
I've had a chance to come to a few games when I would take a little break. I have a chance to work camp a couple of years ago, so I met a few players then as well. So, yes, for sure, I've been watching.
She's already told me what we need to do better. Trust me.
How eager are you to see Charlie Collier and Sedona Prince?
Oh, man, they're just such a special talent. The things that they are doing, I don't think that you may expect from post players as young as they are. So I'm really excited to get them in the gym. I know they have a tremendous upside. They have so much potential, and I'm excited to see their growth.